Hey guys, what's up? It's LJS here, and I'm back with another deck profile. And today's deck profile will be on the new Aqua Blue Wave Tetra Drive Dragon. Oh wait, no, it's not Tetra Drive. It's actually Tetra-burst. He got renamed, even though he looks exactly the same. Actually, No, so now it is Blue Storm Wave Dragon Tetra-burst Dragon. No longer is he called Blue Wave something something Dragon Tetra Drive Dragon, because he doesn't Tetra Drive anymore. He Tetra Burst. He bursts on the 4th attack. No longer does he drive track 4 times. Haha, if you understand the joke. Anyway, so yeah, Aqua also has support from Tetra-16, and they have now new Legion units. And Aqua is I think is one of those really interesting clans out there, because they revolve around hopping around, jumping rearguards. Essentially what I call jumping rearguards, which is quite fun. So it is a fun deck where you takes still some time to plan your rearguards, as well as it really takes some effort in planning your rearguard attacking attacks, and activating some of your Vanguard's skill. So yeah. Anyways, so Aqua Force. Many people are a bit disappointed with the support in Legion support, because their skills are a bit it's not as defining as, say, the Maelstrom Reverse, because Maelstrom Reverse was a really good card. It was one of those cards that really defined Aqua quite well, I'd say. And now we have Tetra-burst, which his skill is quite mediocre, which I'll explain later. So anyways, let's get to the deck profile. So starter, I run the new Blue Storm Cadet Anos. Basically, yeah, he is a good skill to gain some advantage. Basically, he retires your opponent and allows you to draw a card when your Vanguard attacks in the 4th, which I'll explain the skill in more detail later. So that's starter. And grade 3, I run for Tetra-burst Dragon. So he is your early game, I would say, Vanguard, right? Because his skill, basically, if it's a 4th attack, he gains a crit and 5k. So he's early game pressure, because he can pressure your opponent with the additional 5k and a crit. So when you Legion, he swings for 25k and 1 crit. So which is quite pressuring early game. So yeah, so basically use him early game. But it's a bit underwhelming, because all he gains is 5k and a crit. And a lot of the new Legion units right now, they gain like glory effect skills, they gain insane amounts of power and all that stuff, and their skills are crazy. And here we have Aqua, he gained quite mediocre skill. Unlike, I think Reverse Maelstrom is still like a better card with a nicer skill, I guess. Anyways, next grade 3 run is the secondary Legion unit available, which is the Blue Storm Marine General Zaharias. So his skill basically allows you to restand 2 units and they gain 5k, but it's quite a chance-based skill, because it's based on what you drive check. So that's why you use him late game, because when you Legion, you can shove the cards you need back in the deck. Basically, if he drive check himself or his mate, the skill activates. So late game, chances are your deck will be thinner, and when you Legion him, you shove all your cards that is the Vanguard or his mate in the deck, and you can use his skill with a higher chance, although it's still quite luck based, I guess. So next, for grade 2s, I run the new Blue Storm Marine General Starless. So this is a Aqua in set 16 got good rearguard got good support for rearguards, but their Vanguard is quite mediocre, but their rearguards are really good. So he is the mate of Tetra-burst, and he is a much better version. He's sort of like a what's his name? What's his name? That grade 3 that swaps places. Genovius, yes. So he's a grade 2 version of Genovius, and his skill is also better than the old Basil. So basically, he allows you to swap places in the same column and achieve 4 attacks, which Aqua is famous for. Next, we run 4 of the Blue Storm Marine General Ianis. So I'll go through the skill in more detail later. So yeah, anyways, now it's his deck profile. So he's the mate of this guy, and basically he allows you to pressure your opponent, because when he hits, you can draw a card. Although there is a requirement for him before you can draw a card, but yeah, I'll get to that later. Next, I run 2 Tidal Assaults. So the Tidal Assault is another 4 attack enabler. You can run more of him, because if you want more consistency in getting 4 attacks in to activate his skill, you can run more of him. But I don't really like his minus 5k power because he minus 5k. So I run 2 because I think this deck has enough 4 attack enabler options. So I don't really need to run him too much of him. And next we run 2 of the 12k attacker for Blue Storm. So Aqua Force, one of the weakness of Aqua Force is that their columns are generally quite weak because they break him up into 2 unit attacks. So he's quite weak. So you want units that can attack numbers. So he's 12k attacker, and most Vanguard nowadays in this Legion format are 11k base. So at least he can still hit 11k base Vanguards. And you rarely see cross rights now, so it should be he's quite safe to be run. Next, run 4 of the Perfect Guards. Blue Storm Electra, the new one, basically Blue Storm Perfect Guard, because she is a girl and she looks hot and whatever. I don't really run Quintet Walls because I think Quintet Walls are quite Counterblast heavy. You want to use your Counterblast for your Tetra-burst skill, but if you want Quintet Walls, you can run. I suggest running 1 or 2 if you want to. Anyways, next I run 4 of the Blue Storm 10k attackers because, as I mentioned earlier, Aqua Force, their attacks are usually weak. So you want to have some beaters to make sure you have consistency in attacking. So at least 10k you can attack rear guards and all that stuff. Next, I run 3 of this new multiple unit attacker. So he's basically a Legion version of Wheel Assault, and his name is Blue Storm Soldier Tempest Border. Yeah. Next, I run 2 of the Light Sickness Penguin, basically your Luckbird clone. So basically, call him +2, draw a card. So for card draws, I guess, to filter through your deck to get options. My trigger lineup is a bit weird, but I'll explain why I run this lineup later on. First, so I run 3 critical triggers, not Blue Storm, 5 stand triggers, so 1 non-Blue Storm and 4 Blue Storm. Actually, it doesn't really matter because there's no special counterblast, so this deck is not reliant on Blue Storms. Next, run 4 of the Battle Siren Malika and 4 heals. So, the reason why I run stands is because early game, his attack must be the 4th. Usually you want him to be 4th attack. And for that to happen, all your regards will be rested. And you want to... And if your opponent guards your Vanguard and you get a crit, there's nowhere to put a crit. And basically it's kind of wasted. So at least I have something better, which I think is better, which is a stand trigger. So at least you can stand your rear guard and they can attack again and pressure your opponent to guard because... yeah, you want pressure. Also, I run this specific crit because they have skills, and this specific draw because she has skills as well. So yeah. Anyways, now let's get to the skills of cards. So, your main Vanguard, Tetra-burst. So his skill is, the first one will be Legioning. So you perform Legion with him, Starless. So his skill is Counterblast 1. So when his unit attacks a Vanguard, and it is Legion, and it is a 4th attack of that turn, you can Counterblast 1, and he gains 5k and 1 crit. So that's it. That's his skill, 5k and a crit, and basically early game pressure, I guess. His third skill would be when he attacks a Vanguard. If you have another unit in the same column, basically if you have Booster or if you're in Legion, he gains 3k. So basically they're both in Legion. He swings for 23k to your Vanguard, and if you use his skill, he swings for 28k and a crit. So yeah, it's early game pressure, and it forces your opponent to guard early game, which is good because their hand size will be shrinking. Next, the other grade 3 skill is when he drive check and it reveals him or his mate, basically him or him, and if they're Legion, you can Counterblast 1. If you Counterblast 1, you can restand 2 of your rear guards, and they both get 5k. So he is good for late game because in late game, more attacks are useful because by late game, your opponent will probably get 5 damage and he will guard everything. So if you have more attacks coming through, you have to guard more, which is good. And the thing is, he gives a 5k power boost, which is quite good. So you can essentially reset the whole column and it swings for extra like 26k, which is awesome. And you use him late game because late game when you write him, like I mentioned, your deck is thinner. Write him, Legion. And when you Legion, you want to put as many copies of him or his mate back in the deck, so that you have high chances of drive tracking him or him to pull off the skill. So this Starless skill is, if your Vanguard is in Legion and if he is a first attack, he gains 2k. And then after he attacks, you can swap your position with a column behind him. So swap position. So typically, so he is your one of the 4 attack enabler. So basically, if you Vanguard's Legion, if he attacks first, 11k, his skill activates, swap place. Then he can attack it now for 12k, which is good. So basically, that's how you gain 4 attacks. I will explain later some formations you can use to perform his skill, because this deck is a very Aqua Force is a very rear guard formation reliant. So I'll explain it later on. His skill is when he attacks a Vanguard and it hits, and if it's the 3rd battle of that turn or more, draw a card. So attack, hit the Vanguard. If it's battle number 3 or more, draw a card for free, which is awesome, you know, so good. His skill is when he attacks a once a turn, when he attacks a Vanguard, you can restand him. If you do, he minus 5k. So he is there to also enable multiple attack, but he minus 5k. So his second attack most likely won't hit anything. Why is very useful for a turn 2 rush, which is amazing. Next, Tempest Border. So his skill is that if he boosts and your Vanguard's in Legion, choose 2 of your Vanguards and switch their positions. And the thing is, his skill is you must do it. It does not say you may. So basically, you must be careful of how your rearguard is laid out, because when he boosts and attacks a Vanguard, when he boosts and you have a Vanguard in Legion, you must swap to rearguard's position. So it is a requirement. But he also allows you to achieve multiple attacks, which is good, which I'll show again, which I'll show later as well. Penguin skill, call him out. If you do, swap +2, draw a card. His skill is the starter skill, put him in the soul. Your Vanguard gains a skill that when your Vanguard attacks your opponent's Vanguard and it's the 4th attack of that turn, counter +1, draw a card and retire your opponent's rearguard. So he's good for a solid +2, which is amazing. Actually no, it's a +1 because it's a -1 to put him in the soul. I run this critical trigger because his skill is put him in the soul and unflip the damage. But I don't really need to use him because this deck isn't exactly counter blast heavy. Her skill is put her in the soul, give someone 3k. So as I mentioned earlier, this deck, Aqua Force normally has their attacks are kind of weak. So she is useful to temporarily boost your rearguards by 3k and potentially hit nice numbers. So for example, if he swings alone, it's 9k. But if you put 3k, it's a 12k. He can hit the Vanguard. So most of the time, you have units that swing alone unboosted because of how Aqua Force works. And unboosted units normally, it's quite hard to hit your opponent. So sometimes gaining 3k is useful. So now let's go for some formations you can do. Okay, so here's an example of a really good field setup. So you have one full column. You have one column for the multiple exchanging attacks. So typically you always have like something like this. One column where is used to break down and achieve multiple attacks, and one column used to as a full column. Basically what you do is, first attack will be him. So basically you want to have a setup where your switching column would have a 4th attack enabler. So 4th attack enabler will be, in this deck, will be one of these 2 guys. So let's say for now you use this guy. So he attacks for 11k, which hits, which is a nice number. And basically he has to attack a Vanguard. So 11k to your opponent's Vanguard. And in this format, 11k is quite common. There's very rarely any cross strike, so he will hit. So that's 5k guard. Now his skill activates, swap place, swing for 12. So that's now attack number 1, attack number 2. Now his skill, he attacks number 3 for a full column. And the thing is, his skill activates on the 3rd attack. So which is nice to, it would be nice if you have him as your 3rd full column attack, which is nice. And which is also pressures your opponent to guard, because if he hits, you draw a card, which is amazing. And now your Vanguard swings on the 4th attack, and his skill activates. So you have +1, and he gains 5k and a crit. Now let's say you don't have Starless, and you have to use this Tidal Assault. So Tidal Assault, you want to have a booster for him, because he minuses 5k, which is not what you want, because it's quite weak. So ideally you want him to have booster. And let's say early on, if you have a draw trigger, you want to use draw trigger skill, so that he gains 3k, so at least his first attack unboosted will still hit your opponent. So now he swings for 12k, he's to a Vanguard, which is good, and we stand minus 5k, so now it's 7k. Now attack with him boosted, 14k column, 2 hits of Vanguard. Next you attack with this, third attack, his skill is activated. If it hits, draw a card. And now you have 4th attack with this, and you can get 1+1 and use his skill. Let's just say you don't have any of these grade 2 multiple attack enablers. You can then use this guy as a booster to achieve 4 attacks. So ideally you want to set up such that your swapping column will have a grade 2 behind. And if you have a grade 2 in front as well, it's good. But if you don't have a grade 2, you have no choice but to call it grade 3. Have your grade 2 behind. Now swing for 11k first. Hits a Vanguard. Swing for this first. Swing with this, but now it's not a 3rd attack, so that's sad. So it's only a 2nd attack, so his skill doesn't activate. But anyways, doesn't matter. You can still achieve your 4 attacks for this turn. His skill activates. Swap these 2 places around. Now he swings for 12, so that's gonna be 1, 2, 3. And now 4th attack, use his skill, +1, gain the crit. And why you want to put your grade 2 behind? Because you want to swap the grade 2 in front, so at least he can be an interceptor for next turn. Yeah. Another trick you can do with Tidal Assault, if you can't use like the draw trigger skill to power him up, and you want to boost him for both attacks, another trick you can do is this. This trick also sort of guarantees him to be a 3rd attack. So what you do is you attack with this first, boost him to your opponent's Vanguard. So now it is a 16k column. Now his skill activates. You can swap these two around, and he restands. Use his skill restand. He -5k, and at least now 4. And if he's boosted, it's still 11k column. So it still hits. It still can hit the Vanguard. So in this case, you can use him to attack with 2 attacks that will still hit the Vanguard. So first column will be 16, swap the 2 boosters around, and he becomes a 11k. He can still swing for 11k, and now he still can attack the 3rd, and his skill can still activate. So this one requires Tempest Border to be behind Tidal Assault, but the downside to this is that your Vanguard is not boosted, so it swings for 25, 27k, but it's still a big number. The 4th attack, so it's 1, swap, 2, 3, and 4. This is also another possible scenario you can have if you don't have some of these multiple attack enablers. So what you do is you have a grade 2 behind your Vanguard, which is weird. You have a grade 3 Vanguard here, and you have this guy here. What you do is you attack first with this. Now his skill activates. You can swap places with these 2. He attacks for 12. He attacks the 3rd attack, and then you attack your Vanguard 4th. So yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as you can see, there are multiple methods you can use to get 4 attacks in. That's why Aqua Force, I say, is a very interesting clan to play, because it really makes you be creative to think of what's the ideal field setup you can use, and what's the most optimal way of achieving 4 attacks and yet still be able to push for numbers and hit your opponent. So yeah, so this is my deck profile for the Aqua Force Tetra-burst Dragon. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you find some insight to how Aqua Force works, and hopefully I teach you some interesting ways of achieving 4 attacks. So if you like my video, thumbs up, like it please, and if you like my content, do subscribe. And this is me, LJS, and I'll see you guys next time.